Welcome back to another episode of the No Shame with Shane podcast. Got to jump into some NBA news from over the past week. Shams Charania per ESPN reporting that LeBron James is expected to play primary point guard for the Philadelphia 76ers this year, expected to take on primary ball handling for the squad this year. Of course, he played point guard for the 2020 championship Lakers team and also played some point guard this past year in the absence of Luka Doncic. But truthfully, bro, LeBron James should not be running point on this Sixers team. Like, I love the fact that LeBron is a Sixer. He is in Philly. He obviously is known for his ability to be a floor general, whether he has the ball in his hands or doesn't have the ball in his hands. But LeBron James, he should not be running point on the Sixers team. I just don't think he should. Like, I honestly think it's unnecessary. It is unnecessary for LeBron James to run point on this team and just unnecessarily taking the ball out of Tyrese Maxey's hands. I just don't think I'm just not with that. I'm just not with that move. Like, if anyone has shown that he can be a floor general without the ball in his hand, that's LeBron. Like, LeBron does not need to have the ball in his hands to direct traffic and sort of run the control the pace, run the floor. You know, he doesn't need the ball in his hands to do that. I don't think we should be having LeBron run primary point guard over Tyrese Maxey this year. I just don't. Like, Tyrese Maxey is too promising of a ball handler and a catalyst to take the ball out of his hands unnecessarily. He shows too much promise. Like, that's obviously the future. And I know people will say, well, Maxey's not a good point guard. He's not a true point guard. He's not a good facilitator. But bro, Tyrese Maxey is a point guard. He was drafted as a point guard. This was honestly his first year, his first full season playing point guard since we drafted him. Tyrese Maxey hasn't had a full chance to sort of take on that full point guard role on the squad because he's been playing with James Harden and he crossed paths with Ben Simmons at the beginning of his career in Philly. His first full season playing point guard, Tyrese Maxey gets his career high in assists, averaging near 7 assists per game this past season, taking a huge step forward as the center of an offense. There's no reason why, after coming off the year he did, showing the improvement that he showed, that I would be taking the ball out of his hands to put it in LeBron's hands as our primary point guard and moving Maxey back to the 2 guard. There's just, bro, there's no way I'm doing that. That just honestly doesn't make sense to me. Like, I get LeBron James is a facilitator. He is a guy, he is a point forward. He is a guy that can play point guard. He's obviously done it in the past. But he does not need to do that on a team that has Tyrese Maxey. He doesn't. LeBron James does not need to be playing point guard on a team that has Tyrese Maxey. It honestly doesn't make sense. Like, I know LeBron James can run the point. I know he can. We've seen him do it before. But he should not be running point guard on a team that has Tyrese Maxey. And like I said, we've seen him do it before. He did it. He ran point guard with the 2019 to 2020 Lakers, obviously a championship Lakers team, leading the league in assists that year with 10. But he also had to do it. Like, who else was going to run point on, who else was Vogel going to have run point on that team? Quinn Cook? Or Alex Caruso? Old man Rajon Rondo? Like, LeBron had to run point on that team. LeBron James, of course, also ran point this year for the Lakers in light of Luka Doncic being going down with an injury. Who else was going to run it? Marcus Smart? You going to have Bronny? You going to have Bronny run point? Like, bro, like in those 2 specific instances, LeBron James had to run point because there simply was no one else that you would trust enough with that responsibility. Like, LeBron James ran point in the past, yes, but he ran point on significantly less talented teams. He had to. Those teams didn't have a Kyrie Irving. Those teams didn't have a Tyrese Maxey. They didn't even have a Mario Chalmers. Like, they didn't have a dependable guy who could be a primary ball handler on a squad. Even a Dwayne Wade. Like, LeBron James ran point in the past because he had to. He had to. There was no other talent guard-wise that could necessarily do it, that you would trust to do it full time. Like, bro, if LeBron James is not running point on a team with Kyrie Irving, he shouldn't be running point on a team with Tyrese Maxey. He shouldn't be. If LeBron James is not running point on a team with Mario Chalmers, or even Norris Cole, or even D Wade as a 2, he should not be running point on a team with Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey honestly has as much promise as a ball handler and as an offensive catalyst as really Kyrie Irving, if not more of a ceiling, obviously, because, Kyrie Irving was not a one option on a playoff team. Tyrese Maxey was. So if LeBron was not a guy who was going to take, if LeBron was not a guy who was going to take the ball out of Kyrie Irving's hands, he shouldn't be taking the ball out of Tyrese Maxey's hands. That's not how this team should be moving this year. And I'm honestly disappointed in this development by Nick Nurse, this decision by Nick Nurse in this front office. Again, super happy that LeBron James is a Sixer, but this is low-key what I was scared of. This is the news that LeBron James will be running point guard for the Sixers this year. This is honestly what I was scared of when we were weighing LeBron's options in terms of him coming to Philly. This is what I was scared of, because I thought that there was a chance that his demand would require him to take the ball out of Tyrese Maxey's hands unnecessarily, and obviously take the ball out of VJ Edgecombe's hands unnecessarily. Like, if you have Tyrese Maxey on your squad, LeBron James should not be running point. He shouldn't be. Like, Tyrese Maxey has gotten better at facilitating gradually throughout his career. Like, people will say he's not a facilitator. He's not a guy you can trust with the ball in his hands to run an offense. His first full season playing point guard this year, he tallied his career high in assists with close to 7. His career high. Coming off the year he had, you want to take the ball out of his hands? No. Tyrese Maxey is only going to get better as a facilitator as he goes on. Like, it's just, as the more comfortable he gets, he's going to get better and he's going to improve. If Jalen Brunson can improve as a facilitator in a Mike Brown system this late in his career, after being a guy who is a predominant scorer, primary scorer, who would be accused of dribbling the life out of the ball, really just shooting around while the rest of the Knicks would sort of support him. If that guy can improve as a facilitator, you're telling me Tyrese Maxey still, sort of borderline in the edge of his prime, borderline in his prime, can't improve as a facilitator as well? Like, if Jalen Brunson can improve as a facilitator, so can Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey is younger. He's more athletic. He has more of a he has a higher ceiling to his game. If Jalen Brunson can improve as a facilitating guard, so can Tyrese Maxey. Now is not the time to take the ball out of Tyrese Maxey's hands so LeBron can run point. It's not the time. This team will have more growth with the ball in Tyrese Maxey's hands, with Tyrese Maxey running the floor, setting the pace and setting the tone. LeBron, he is going to be a floor general with or without the ball in his hands. He can do it either or. We should not be taking the ball out of Tyrese Maxey's hands to put it in LeBron James's hands. I don't see this team having as much growth if LeBron James is running point consistently over Tyrese Maxey. I just don't. Tyrese Maxey should be running point on this team. But speaking of the growth of this team, one guy we definitely need is Joel Embiid, but not how you might think. So Shaquille O'Neal, he was recently on the Stephen A. Smith show and gave a pretty interesting take on what Joel Embiid's role should be this coming season. He says Shaq says Joel Embiid will have his best season of his career this year. Joel Embiid is going to dominate this year, in quotes. Joel Embiid will be the best big man in the league. He will officially surpass Jokic, I guess, in the rankings this year as the best big man. I honestly think Shaq should hold his horses. Shaq's got a little too much dip on his chip. I think obviously Joel Embiid is capable of surpassing Jokic this year. He is capable of putting up MVP numbers this year with the talent that is around him. But I don't think we should be hoping that he does. Like, I don't think we should be hoping Joel Embiid has an MVP caliber season this year and that he plays 60 games and really pushes himself to be out there every night and to put up 30 and 10 every night. Like, I don't think that's what we should be hoping for Joel Embiid this year. I truly don't. Like, honestly, we don't need Joel Embiid to have that type of year this year. Like, I know Shaq's got his take, but we don't need Joel Embiid to put up MVP caliber numbers this year. We don't need Joel Embiid to surpass Jokic in production this year. Honestly, what we need from Joel is literally what he did last season. Joel Embiid can have the exact same year he had last year, and this Sixers team still run the East. Like, Joel Embiid this year, just like he did last year, can give us 38 to 40 games, make it into the playoffs, be on the court for us in the playoffs, and the Sixers can be a true contender, can really be a threat to win it all this year. To win it all this year. Because you look at the squad we have this year, we know and we know we're going to get 25 to 28 out of Jaylen Brown. We know we're going to get at least 23 out of 23 and 7 and 6, 23 and 7 or 23 and 6 out of Tyrese Maxey. We know Bron is good to give us 19. We know VJ is good to give us 15. Even if you want to switch Bron and VJ in that regard, we know we're going to get production from our starters. We know our bench is good to give us really a good 25 on average. We don't need Joel to come in and drop 35 and 12 on top of that. We need a good 10 and 12 from Joel Embiid consistently. We need a good 10 and 12 or maybe a good 12 and 10 from Joel Embiid consistently. We don't need Joel Embiid to come out here and be MVP Embiid this season. We just don't. Like, what we need from Joel is for him to be healthy, for him to be consistent, and for him to be around in the postseason to capitalize off the talent that we have this year. So I respect Shaq, of course. Shaq, of course, is right in the sense that Joel Embiid could surpass Jokic in production, that he could have an MVP caliber season playing alongside Bron and Jaylen Brown and Maxey and VJ. But we don't need Joel Embiid to do that this year. And honestly, we shouldn't want him to have to do that this year. We shouldn't want him to have to do that this year. Honestly, I would prefer Joel Embiid to just maintain what he gave us last year, as opposed to pushing himself to give us this MVP caliber season now that he has Bron, Jaylen Brown, and Maxey and VJ all on the court with him. I would prefer for Embiid to kind of coast and take it easy somewhat and preserve himself so that he is healthy and on the court with this team in the playoffs. Joel Embiid, I would prefer 38 games out of Joel Embiid again and just consistent production as opposed to pushing himself to play 50 games averaging 35 and 15 or 12 on the night. Like, Joel Embiid in the past 3 years hasn't given us over 40 games, let alone 50. Let alone 50. He's really hugged that 30 to somewhat scratching 40 range the past 3 years. This is not the year for Joel Embiid to push himself and put his body at more risk, put more wear and tear on his body before we even get to the playoffs with the team that we have this year. This is just not the year for Joel Embiid to do that. So I would honestly prefer for Joel Embiid to sort of maintain the production that he has given us over the past few years. You know, giving us a good 38 to 39 games, making it to the playoffs, as opposed to him having to feel like he has to carry the offense again, put all that weight on him, both figuratively and literally, you know, just putting more wear and tear on his body and putting himself at risk of missing the playoffs again this year. So I would much prefer for Joel Embiid to kind of take a step back and take a back seat, as opposed to feeling like he has to step up and take the lead now with the talent that we have on the squad this year. That's how I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling. This Sixers team can be the best team in the East this year as long as Joel Embiid is healthy in the playoffs. We don't need Joel Embiid to give us 35 and 12 every night like he has shown capable of doing. Like what we know he can do. We don't need that from him in the regular season if it means he's not going to be around in the playoffs. What we need from Joel Embiid this season, at the very least, is a 12 and 10 consistent production, or even a 10 and 12 consistent production, steady production. Because we already have bell cows like Jaylen Brown, who can give us 25 to 28, Tyrese Maxey, who can give us 23, LeBron, who can give us 19, VJ, who can give us 15, a bench mafia that can give us a good 25. We don't need a 35 and 12 stat line, average stat line from Joel Embiid if it puts him at risk for the playoffs. We just need Joel Embiid healthy for the playoffs. And I know for a fact the Sixers can run the East this year. For sure, the Sixers can run the East this year 1,000%. But that's all we got for today's edition of No Shame with Shane. If you haven't already, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media platforms, and I'll be back later on with more shameless takes.